2020 has been quite a challenge. I used to worry that we were facing an epic struggle for survival, but the big struggle really turned out to be not eating all the cookies in one sitting. And with all the gyms closed, a lot of people have had a hard time staying fit. But you know, there is an exercise that you can do at home on your own. It's very convenient and inexpensive. It'll help you manage your weight. It'll help you relieve stress, sleep better at night, and wait, don't turn it off, don't turn it off. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh no, it's a video about running. I don't like running because running is uncomfortable and it makes me feel bad, but that's what I'm here to tell you. That doesn't have to be the case. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 4 tips to help you get started with it. And by the time it's done, you'll realize that you don't actually hate running. You love running. You just don't know it yet. Now picture what running looks like in your head. Does it look like this? Leaning forward, head a little bit down, taking long strides? If that's what you think, I can't really blame you. That's the action shot they use on t-shirts and photos and race flyers and everything. So I think that's what most people have in their head when they think of running form, but that's not actually what good running form looks like. All right, I want you to do a little experiment with me. First, I need you to stand up. Don't be shy. That guy over there, he's not looking at you, I promise. Just go ahead and stand up. Get nice and tall and relaxed, and just take a second to see what this feels like. Okay, you got it? Next thing I want you to do is bend forward and just take a second and see what this feels like. Now what you're feeling is you're feeling all these muscles back here tense up. They're having to work harder to maintain your neutral spine in this position. Without these muscles, you would just slouch over. So every time you lean forward like this is your body's automatic natural response. These muscles back here tense up to help you keep your posture. So the question I have for you is this: which one of those 2 positions is more comfortable? Standing up nice and tall, or bending forward and trying to hold it like that? This is a more accurate picture of what good running form looks like. Head over shoulders, shoulders over hip, hip is over that foot that's on the ground, and the trail leg isn't trailing way behind. It's basically parallel to the leg on the ground. To see what this feels like for yourself, jog in place. Make sure that you keep your head up, looking ahead. Don't look down at your feet. And when you pick your feet up, pick them straight up towards your hip. This is going to make your knee have to come up a little bit in the front. And your knee doesn't have to come up super high, just needs to come up a little bit. When you're ready to go for a run, try jogging in place for 10 seconds first. This will help you get that feeling of good posture. Then when you're ready, start going forward, trying to keep that feeling. True or false? In order to run forward, you have to push back. Well, I'm skipping over a little bit of nuance when I say this, but in general, the answer is false. You do not need to push back. This is an example of Newton's first law of motion in action. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion, and so you don't need to actually keep pushing back in order to keep moving forward. Newton's third law also suggests why pushing back can make running less efficient. Now, when you push back against the ground with your foot, the ground also pushes against you. And it's that force that's going to get transmitted up your leg to your pelvis and cause your pelvis to want to rotate. Now, to compensate for this rotation, your upper body is going to rotate the opposite direction. And as a result, if you're running with a lot of pushback in both legs, what tends to happen is your upper body has to twist a lot in order to compensate for that. To work on this, try running a little bit with your arms pinned to your side. This accentuates any trunk twisting you might do. It makes it easier to feel when you're pushing back. All right, so once you've been running for a little while, you're starting to get good at the posture and you're getting good at not pushing back. But now you're noticing this other problem, right? right? That your upper body, particularly maybe your hands, your wrists, maybe even your neck and your face, they're really stiff. They're kind of clenched all the time. And after a while, it gets to be really uncomfortable when you're running. What do you do about that? Well, I have a simple thing I like to do, and it's a little silly, but hear me out. I like to try to imagine that my upper body is spaghetti. All right, so do this with me for a second. Take your arm and just make it feel like raw spaghetti. So raw spaghetti, very stiff, right? So elbow, wrist, fingers, they're not going to bend when I move my arm. Okay, now take the arm and cook the spaghetti and make it feel cooked. Now I can move my arm and everything is just allowed to move. And this is the thing I try to picture, right? My upper body when I'm running, like this is me as raw spaghetti. Now here I am as cooked spaghetti. Just trying to let everything relax. Your hands don't have to be anything special, right? They don't have to be a fist. They don't have to be straight. Just whatever is comfortable, they can sit there. Your wrists and your elbows, they don't have to be super rigid either. They can move a little as your arm moves, that's fine. And your neck and your face should just be relaxed, skin hanging there. When you feel yourself getting stiff, I like to just take a second, feel like I'm spaghetti, then cook the spaghetti and just try to keep it relaxed. Now you might have heard that running is bad for your knees or that it causes injuries. But it is true that running has a relatively high injury rate compared to a lot of other activities. There's also a lot of things you can do to mitigate that risk. Buy a good pair of shoes for starters. Also, make sure that you start with really short runs and only very gradually and slowly over time make them longer. But probably the single most important thing you can do to minimize your injury risk is run slowly. Now that might sound strange to a lot of new runners. I thought the whole point was to go fast. A lot of people carry this fear with them that they're going to be looked down upon. People will look at them and think they're not a real runner if they're not trying to go fast. But I promise you, nothing could be farther from the truth.
Running events offer something for everyone. Yes, there are fast people there trying to push themselves to new personal bests, but there's a lot of people that are just there to be with their friends or be a part of the community or take part in this festive event that's enveloping their entire city. Running can also be a solitary activity if you want it to be. I love to just put in my headphones and go for a nice long slow run. Take the camera with me, do some sightseeing. And yes, I do enjoy trying to run as fast as I can every now and then, but even if intermittent walking sounds more fun to you than intermittent sprinting, the health benefits of running are gonna be yours either way. And that's what makes this so great. Whatever you decide to do, make it your own and enjoy it. That's how I know that you are gonna love running, even if you don't know it yet.